Evening Fix-It fans. Now on the table I have got my latest project. It is a little non-working receiver. It's a little Kenwood Trio from 1969, so it's a nice early little receiver, this one. Proper bit of vintage hi-fi. So it's the one there sitting on its own. It's not the pile of three. That stack of three there, they are all working and are ones that have already been repaired on the channel. I was just playing around with them last night. That's why they are sitting on the table. So the one we are looking at today is a trio model TK40 LT. Now it's 16 watts per channel. It's from 1969 and it is really made by Kenwood, because although it is all badged up as a trio is Kenwood. So I bought this one a few weeks ago. It has come from the computer and it was listed as untested, sold as seen, because as I'll show you in a minute, it has got a fuse carrier cap missing off of the back. It has no plug on it and the tuning radio knob is missing. So because it hasn't got that fuse cap on it, you can't put a fuse in it. So it was just sold as untested, sold as seen. So this one will be going on the channel soon, because obviously it needs going right through and it might even need repair, because I don't know if there is anything wrong with this or not. It might not have anything wrong with it. It could be working, or it might have some serious problems. I don't know until I open it up on the channel and go right through it. So that'll all be happening on the channel soon. Now it won't be the next thing that I'm going to repair, because I've still got a few sets of speakers to look at yet, and I've got receivers that are ahead of this in the fix-it queue. So this won't be the next lot of videos, but it will be coming to the channel soon. So I bought this one because I really liked the look of it and thought it looked in really nice condition for its age. That faceplate and that looks like that'll clean up really well. All the pots and switches are on it, apart from that tuning wheel, but it does feel like it's working okay, that tuner. It's moving nice and smooth, it's just got its knob missing. So that one is the on-off and speaker and headphones, because it shuts your speakers off when you switch it to headphones. This one here, the selector, has got a bit of a problem. It is really hard to move. It does not want to turn, that one. The switches feel fine on it. Both of these two switches here feel like they are working properly. The treble pot feels a little bit stiff, but nothing major. Same as this bass pot. This bass pot, it feels a bit stiff, like it just hasn't been used for a long time. Again, these switches here, both of them feel like they are working properly. And if you look at that one there, that is the volume, but it does your balance as well. So it is a split knob, that one, and it is quite hard to turn individually. So again, it feels like it hasn't been used for a long time, that pot. And that switch there, it doesn't seem to want to lock in. Now and again it stays in, but most of the time it doesn't do anything, and it just pings back out. But there you go, that time it stayed in, so it works now and again. So I would say that this receiver just feels like it hasn't been used for a long time. The way everything feels a bit stiff and a bit seized up. So hopefully go right through it with deoxit. It should get all that working again, because none of it feels grindy or bent. It just feels a bit seized up. So I'll get my tape measure and I'll show you how big this is. So you can see it's 16.5 inches wide. The height of it is, it's about 13 centimetres or 5.25 inches, and the depth of it is about 12 inches deep. And the case on this one is not wood, that is metal, but it is just done to look like wood. And it is actually bigger than I thought, this receiver. When I bought it, I didn't think it was going to be as big as what it is, but it is actually quite a big, nice sized receiver. And it did get lost in the post for a little while, this one, because I bought it on the same day as I bought this Sony up here. So that Sony there at the bottom, that is an STR 6040, and I bought that in the morning, and then later that night I bought the Kenwood, and the Sony turned up a few days later, and the Kenwood arrived after about 3 weeks. So I did think the Kenwood was missing, or it had got lost in the post, because the tracking said it was posted the day after I had bought it, and then a few days later it said out for delivery, but it never turned up. So I did speak to the seller, and they said it was definitely posted on the day the tracking said it was posted. So I was thinking that the Kenwood had got lost in the post. But then about 3 weeks later, I got home from work, and there it was, sitting in a box in my porch. So I don't know where it had been, but it did get here in the end. And I was a bit worried about opening it, because the box was quite beaten up and a bit battered, so it definitely had been bashed about in the post. So when I opened it up, I was really relieved to see that it had not been damaged. So I'll just turn it round, and as you can see, this Kenwood has got a really big heavy duty chassis on it, so it is well built, this receiver. And you can see there, I'll get the camera in and show you, it's got the little cap part missing off of its fuse carrier, so you cannot put a fuse in it. But I don't think it'd be very hard to get hold of one of them. It is not nothing special, it is just a standard screw-in fuse cap. So it's got its little outlet on the back there, bits for the radio aerial. It will only take one set of speakers, and it's got a mono output there for a single speaker. So it's got phono, auxiliary and your tape deck, and it's also got that 5-pin DIN connector for another tape deck or a reel-to-reel player. And it's got that nice gap between the chassis and the top cover, so it's got a nice bit of ventilation along the back there, and it's also got a big vent in the top, so you can see through that. It does look a little bit grubby inside this one, so you can see the caps there, and you can see the transformers there, so it does look all complete inside this one. It just looks very dirty, so it will need a good clean inside this old Kenwood, and it will need checking right over. Because I know nothing about this receiver, I bought this from a charity shop, so it has been donated to charity. So they've never tested it because it's got no fuse cap. You can't test it. So it was just listed as untested, sold as seen. So it's not like I got a story from a seller who knew all about it. The charity shop knew nothing about this receiver. They have just taken it in and sold it. So those three sitting there on the table, the bottom one is a Pioneer SX750. The one in the middle is a Pioneer SX434, and the one on the top is a Rotel RA310. Now all them three have been repaired on the channel and they all seem to be working nicely now. So hopefully I'll be able to get this Kenwood trio opened up on the channel and sort it out and get it working as nicely as them three are. So I'll just put the camera back on the tripod and I'll turn it back round. And it does feel nicely built, this Kenwood. Considering it is only 16 watts per channel, it has got a little bit of weight to it, this one. So I'll just put the Rotel on top of it just to show you how big it is compared to this Rotel. So as you can see, it's massive compared to the Rotel RA310, and I've never had this model of Kenwood before. So when I was looking at it in the photos on the computer, I did sort of think it would be the same sort of size as this Rotel. So it was a really nice surprise when I first unboxed it and realised how big it was. Because like I said, I have never had this model of Kenwood before. I have had some other vintage Kenwood receivers and some of them was quite small, so that's why I thought this one was going to be quite small. And I did have a little look up about this one before I bought it. Like once I found it for sale, because I didn't know nothing about it, I did look up a little bit about it, and I couldn't find a lot out about this model. So I do think this could be a bit of a rare little Kenwood, because they make this in three models. They make a 40, a 40L and a 40LT, which this one is. And I think it's called an LT because it's got long wave radio on it and the other ones haven't. But when I was looking up about them, I could find lots of info about them other two, and I found a few of them other two for sale, but I could find nothing out about this LT version, nor could I find any other ones of these for sale. That was a bit why I sort of wanted to buy this one, because I did think it might be quite rare. It might not be. It might have been the time I was looking. There was just none of these LTs for sale. You might go on the computer in a month's time and find 5 of these for sale, because I did only really look up about it on one day. And that was on the day that I bought it, because me and my missus was having a look on the computer and I found this Kenwood and that Sony STR, and both of them was non-working, needing repair. So we was looking up a little bit all about them, and then my missus went, "Shall we buy one of them?" And I went, "Yeah, I want to buy one, but I don't know what one to buy. I don't know what one I'd prefer." I said, "I do quite fancy the look of that Kenwood though." She went, "Well, I think we should buy the Sony, because I think we should save that Sony from getting broken up for parts." She's like, "Right, come on, let fate decide. Let's flip a coin." So that's what we did. We done heads by the Sony, tails we buy the Kenwood. So she flipped a coin and it came up heads, so we bought the Sony. And then later that evening, my friend James come round for a few beers. So we're sitting having a few beers and listening to some music, and my missus is telling him the story about the coin flip, how we flipped a coin for a Kenwood and a Sony and ended up buying a Sony. And he went, well, show us what you bought then. So I got the pictures up of the Sony and showed him it. And then he went, well, come on, show me the Kenwood now, 'cause I don't even know what model of Kenwood you're talking about. So I found the Kenwood again and showed him the pictures, and it was still for sale. So I went to my missus, oh, I'm a little bit gutted we didn't buy that Kenwood, 'cause it looks really good. So I am a bit gutted that we didn't buy it. She went, come on, let's have another coin flip. I went, what, on the Kenwood? She went, yeah, come on, let's flip again. So we done a coin flip again. We done tails, we buy the Kenwood. Heads, we don't buy the Kenwood. So she flipped a coin, it came up tails, and that was it. I was really happy, and I bought the little Kenwood, and here it is. So the next time you see this Kenwood, it will be getting opened up and cleaned right out on the channel, and I shall be going right through it to see if I can find anything wrong with it or not. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.